Hello there and welcome
to the new channel.
Here to help you see
the new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansala.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Argamid.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebostillo.
I'm Dania Cunha.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mapet Erhino.
I'm Leo Bryan. Mike.
Nice one, dear.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar. This is Sunny Haldons.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Geronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
My name is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
Aftershift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Healthline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories. Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC ignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC ignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello there and welcome to TNC. We are here to help you see the new you. My name is Lloyd Luna and this is The Big Picture. Hello there, Metro Manila, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, or wherever you're watching from around the world. Good evening to you all. This is another inspirational episode of The Big Picture for tonight. If you're watching us live right now, please do share our live stream link. You can also organize your own watch party so that your friends, families, and associates can watch the same inspirational episode that we give you night after night. If you are watching us live right now, again, you can share the same link sa inyong mga social media groups para makapanood din sila talaga. You can also watch us live on youtube.com/tncnow and drop some comments in there. If you do that, at napili namin kayo na nanonood sa youtube.com/tncnow, you can have an opportunity to get a gift courtesy of Unisol and TNC. The item to catch? Please watch. That's washable face mask worth 800 pesos courtesy of Unisol and TNC. So again, watch us on youtube.com/TNC now and drop some comments in there. And hopefully mapili kayo na maswerteng viewer for tonight. If you are living with Metro Manila at kayo po yung mapili namin, delivery will be on us. Tonight is an exciting episode, but before that, let me read some headlines from the country's oldest running English newspaper, the Manila Times. Expert, no time to be choosy with vaccine. Headline. Vaccine gives us hope. Vaccination drive kicks off. Sinopharm applies for emergency use. Pfizer vaccine delivery also delayed, according to Galvez. House panel okays bill creating Center for Disease Control. Senate resolutions honor Pasig mayor. Drug companies urged to share vaccine know-how. Headlines presented to you by the Manila Times. For more news and information, please go to manilatimes.net or download their application at digitaledition.manilatimes.net. All right, so tonight's an interesting, exciting night because we have someone here in the show that's going to help us really in understanding life, meaning, and purpose. There is a sort of an acronym that is known in the web as MPKK. It's a framework for living a life of meaning and purpose. There are 4 things in this framework, namely mission, principle, kindness, and meal. Now, we can all look at them as steps in the process of, or elements in the play. The framework can be applied in the context of the individual or, in fact, as an organization. Of course, it will be a pleasure for him to discuss the framework with us tonight. But our guest, Mike Millanes, plays several key roles in life. Affiliated with De La Salle University in Manila, working as a director in one of the offices under the student affairs, is also an inspirational speaker, life coach, and consultant. Now, he has been in the work in the education sector and formation for more than 2 decades. And the most important realization that marked his heart is that character formation is the crucial key in making life meaningful and making this world a better place to live in for everyone. Welcome to the show, Mike Millanes. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to The Big Picture. Appreciate your time.
Hello, Lloyd. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be with you here in The Big Picture. I really appreciate it.
Of course, definitely. I would like to ask how have you been? Because 2020 was such a crazy year. It was not a totally wasted year, I'm sure. But how are you now?
Well, work is still generally from home. Most of the work related to schools were done at home, and those engagement when it comes to consultancy and also speaking engagement were done remotely. Well, personally doing well with my family here in Makati.
Interesting yung part na yun. Sa lahat na hindi po nakakaalam, bukod sa nga educator, inspirational speaker din si Professor, can I call it Professor Mike?
Not really a professor, because currently I'm not holding a teaching position, but more on an administrative task in the LSU.
All right, so up to until now, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still with the LSU.
No, now I understand that it's challenging now. What is the most prominent challenge that you have right now, considering that you're working from home, and this is a social work? I mean, very social in terms of the way we're going to characterize yung trabaho mo siguro, sir, social, no? Kailangan ng interaction and things like that. So what's the most prominent challenge sa nangyayari ngayon?
The greatest challenge really is in terms of human engagement. I hope you would agree, and the other people who are listening, that no amount of technology can actually mediate or connect us when it comes to human engagement, especially in the field of public speaking that we are. And it's also my work in the school. It's important that we have connections, human connections on a daily basis, at the same time whenever we conduct our work. So that's the greatest challenge, how to translate all these things in the arena of online, in the arena of the virtual world.
Tell us something about your experience now, working in your office at home, dealing with students, because you're handling one of the departments under the student affairs. How is it now? How are the students taking this remote connection?
One of the biggest challenge really for the academics is, I always believe that walang school ang naging ganun kahanda, no? When it comes to what happened last 2020. Some universities, big universities, might have already this technology and this platform to do education or teaching remotely. But there are a lot of things in the academe, or a lot of things in human engagement, that cannot actually be translated into this virtual platform. So the students, I guess, learning are still taking place. But the challenges, the greatest challenge for us educator, and for me, formator, in a way, I'd call myself formator, is that how to make it sure that we carry on the spirit of formation, character building, in the online platform. Yun ang pinakamahirap na gawin especially now that everything seems to be remote. Ang lahat ng interaction with the students, the school became actually a virtual a thing already.
Mm-hmm. And napakaraming distractions, talking about, you're going to talk about formation. Hirap na hirap tayo mag-formation during the face-to-face.
Yeah.
And then what more yung online? But walk us through your history, how you end up being a formator and probably an educator as well. What was your journey like prior to being who you are right now?
Lloyd, I'm an ex-seminarian, so came from the seminary, that classic thing. I came from the seminary, spent 6 or 7 years in the seminary formation. Then afterwards went out and then tried to explore the world. And then the first work na nakuha ko is actually teaching. Well, in most cases, we end up teaching actually. So in the academe. So I felt that's the career that I'm going to pursue. So teaching. So nagturo, basic ed, high school, and then afterwards went to tertiary education. And then discovering that I can do more. That's actually the reason why maybe circumstances gave birth to this MPKK. The desire to do more when it comes to formation, when it comes to also education, not only the young people in the school, but also the other groups outside the school, or even the young adults.
And this is something na hindi mo nakikita if you were to pursue priesthood. Parang ganun po ba yung nangyari?
Yeah, I feel so. But it's a different. Although the priestly ministries still talk about formation and evangelization, but I guess this is one thing that I can do as I continue my journey in this world. That's why Later on, I'm going to talk about MPKK as a parang two-sided coin. It represents my mission, my advocacy, at the same time what I want to share with other people. One of those things would be the side of valuing family, and me also giving much importance when it comes to family formation or building.
Medyo interesting yung part na 6-7 years in the seminary, and then lalabas hindi ka nang hinayang dun sa dun sa pinagstay mo. It's kind of long, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that if I'm gonna list down things, parang difficult decisions in life, I would try to list down yung paglabas sa seminary as one of those. Actually, it's not that easy. It's a long discerning path. At the same time, papasok ka sa isang mundo na hindi masyadong familiar sa iyo. And I would say that for 6-7 years, seminary became my comfort zone. Everything seems to be okay, and then everything seems to be provided. Then suddenly, you venture. But I guess that's part of decision making. That's part of decision making. At the same time, doing what we really want to pursue in life.
Mm-hmm. And whose idea was it, by the way, na you go to the seminary and take priesthood?
It's my decision, actually. After high school, I was asked by my ninang, who's going to sponsor my college, what course would I want to pursue? Sabi niya sa akin, no offense to the practitioner, the lawyers, sabi niya sa akin, you can pursue college degree, basta ayaw niya lang ng law. I don't know why. Pero yun, I said, I'm not into engineering, I'm not into medicine. Sabi ko, ninang, I would want to enter the seminary. And then, suddenly, kumintab yung mata niya. And then, she became so excited, okay, I'm gonna sponsor you in the seminary.
And then, was it something na nangyari na biglaan na parang you simply wanted in your direction? How did it shape up, making that hard choice na you would like to leave the seminary na and then pursue something that is different from what you have been doing for the past 6-7 years?
All right. When I went out of the seminary, of course, not everything went smooth. Looking for work, establishing life, deciding to get married, and then building my own family. Those are actually challenges. Well, it seems, I would say, from the time that I left the seminary until mid-30s, I feel I'm just trying to go along the flow. Alam mo yung feeling na you're just surviving day in, day out. Yung feeling na parang, well, you have work, nabubuhay mo naman yung pamilya mo, but it seems I started actually asking and questioning what seems to be more, or what seems to be more meaningful and significant in what I want to do and in what I want to actually pursue. That's why in my post the birth of this MPKK, diba, doon nga nagsimula yun, para bang questioning myself, and then realizing I'm already turning 40s during that time. Ano ba talaga yung kahulugan ng buhay na gusto kong ibuhay, the life that I want to spend in this world for the next 10, 20, hopefully 30 years, and then afterwards what to leave behind.
Mm-hmm. So start natin itong framework na ito. I understand yun yung inspiration really kung paano magkaroon ng purpose, but having discovered this, is it something that you intentionally did, or for some reason somehow you just sat somewhere and then naisip mo itong the framework na ito, tinatawag ding MPKK?
I would say, Lloyd, it's a product of events. No, not something that I created like a module or a program that I actually developed. No, it actually started with events in life. No, as I said, maybe it's life transition. You're getting older and you feel. During that time, I have 2 kids. Bagong panganak yung bunso, barely parang mga 4 or 5 months, and then I'm trying to look at myself, in the next 5-10 years, where would I go? Ano yung maabot ko nito? And so, that triggered everything. And then the process of discernment, I would say, and a lot of prayers and a lot of advice as well, a lot of realizations led me to one thing. I need to focus on one thing that I really value. I need to really put my energy in one thing that I really intend to, to value and to give premium in this life, in my life. And that's the reason why everything funneled actually into one thing, and that is actually MPKK. So whenever people ask me, what is the meaning of MPKK? What is MPKK? I would always tell them, that's me. That's me. In the framework, it represents two things: the framework, the four letters. At the same time, first and foremost, it's really about my family. Because during that time, Lloyd, I realized, ang dami kong gustong gawin, ang dami kong gustong puntahan. I failed a lot of interviews and jobs. No, I have a lot of dream jobs that I actually listed down and I tried to apply, pero everything seems to fail. Parang wala eh. I kept on running south, and yet I feel I'm not supposed to be in south. And then suddenly realizing destination is actually in the other side. It's actually in north. And all I need to actually discover is that what is that actually destination? What is that one thing that I really value? That ended up in this one.
So that's interesting, ano? Marami kang gusto. Sure ka sa gusto mo. Alam mo na gusto mo yun. But for some reason, hindi mo talaga siya makuha. Ano? Parang gano'n ka marvelous yung journey mo pala, sir.
Yeah. I tried actually, the dream job, working in a multinational company. You want to sit down in a good office, no? And then sign documents and everything. Di ba? After college, but that's a dream job and everything. But, actually, what I would say, I had 17 job applications that I was actually rejected and denied. And all the while I thought I did well, I passed well, but it seems parang it's not going fluid. It's not actually going to my direction. And it brought a lot of frustration, sadness, also questioning self-worth.
Baka naman overqualified ka. Have you thought?
No, actually, those things I don't know. Parang maybe because I wanna try the corporate, and yet I do not have strong background in the corporate world. But I kept on applying, and yet it doesn't work. It seems like circumstances, or I don't want to call it destiny, but it seems the energy tells me you're not there. You're not supposed to be there. Hindi ka yata dyan. You need to discover kung saan ka, kung ano yung gusto mo, ano yung gusto mong pagtuunan, at kung saan ka talaga.
So, ang naging talagang work niya na is as an educator, the same time formator. So, you get invited to speak in a group of people. Parang gano'n na yung naging job mo na comfortable ka.
Yeah, I always tell this, I said a while ago, the first seems to be until mid-30s. It seems that I actually...
Okay, so I guess we have some technical difficulties. We are unable to get the video feed from our guest, but it's interesting. We are still talking about the MPKK framework that was invented by our guest for tonight, Mike Millanes, an educator, a life coach, and an inspirational speaker as well. So, mamaya hintayin nating makabalik si Sir Mike. In the meantime, I'm going to pause for a very short commercial. And then when we come back, we're still going to continue our discussion with him. Don't go away, because the big picture on TNC will be right back. Please stay on our stream. Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Picture on TNC. Before I call in back to the studio our guest again for tonight, I would like to invite you to watch our other inspirational shows on TNC. U-Turn, TNC The Talk, Awesome Day, The Home Buyer, The Puppet Stories, The Big Picture, The Millennial Voice. Foreign Affairs, HR Hotline, Well Home, Uplift, Market Leader, Mental Shift, Money and More, which is going to premiere the second season right after the show tonight. So stay tuned na kayo. 8:30 p.m. po ito, ngayong araw na ito, ngayong gabing ito. Please do watch them because it's a second season for them. It will be a sort of a much improved format for them and a lot of things to be looking forward to having in Money and More with Sunny and Hyde. Other shows on TNC, Cybernext, Healthline, Couple Goals After Shift, YOLO, Negosyo at Home, TechU, TNC Marketplace, Danny Art Show, Women at Work, COVID Stories, The Family Business, Usapang Beauty, The Fort Project, Win Within, TNC Town Hall, TNC One Day, and TNC PressCon. I hope you watch our shows and please do follow us on youtube.com/TNC Now as well as facebook.com/TNC Now. Use the hashtag TNC Now and hashtag See the New You. Let's bring back to the studio our good friend Mike Millanes, an educator, life coach, and an inspirational speaker. Thank you so much again, sir, for being here. Technology.
I'm sorry with that one. Yeah, that's a usual problem also in the academe, in the midst of teaching. Yeah.
I thought you actually walked out, but
No. I'm sorry.
No problem. Okay, let's talk about the challenges. When you are trying to do something that you love, it does not necessarily mean that it's easy and the revenue is easy to get in as well. What were the challenges at the time nung nandun ka na ginagawa mo yung gusto mo, pero totally hindi pa yun yung sasabihin mo parang stable or something like stable the business na pwede mo talaga maging bread and butter at the time?
Yeah, that's right. When I started doing it and I felt that's what I really want to do, totoo yun. You cannot really rely on it as source of income for the family. But you know what I realized, Lloyd? Doing the things that you love would somehow give you a different perspective and at the same time attitude, no? Yung positivity, para bang everyday, pag ginagawa mo yun, napapagod ka and everything, but it doesn't actually bring a lot of, negative thoughts and everything. And then I felt para bang I just kept on doing it and then everything else followed parang sunod-sunod na lang para bang you just realize other things would come like compensations, finances and everything. Kaya nga whenever I give sharing to the young people, I just simply tell them the last 7 years I just kept on actually running to the right direction. Everything seems to follow. Everything seems to be going smooth. Not in terms of challenges, but I guess in terms of parang pagod ka pero things are doing well. Things are actually in the right place.
So I assume ito yung mga birth pains. You're trying to do something na gusto mo talaga. Because I can remember when I was still starting back in 2004, 2005. Really, there's not much of an option, but to just continue doing what you love doing and experiment in the process. Yung tipong pag sinabi sa akin, magkano ang charge mo pa lang? Tanongin mo ako magkano ibabayad ko dun sa company or sa school. Ako pa magbabayad. That's what I should give it exposure. But of course, it's an exaggeration. But I kind of get what you're saying, that it will follow suit whenever you are just enjoying what you're doing. Because I thought, and now having some retrospection here dun sa sinabi mo, parang if you become too pushy about things, sometimes pala nakakawala din, ano?
Tama. That's right, Lloyd. Especially it's not really the right thing at the right place.
Oh, so how do you know exactly when it is right and when it is not right to pursue it? I mean, I hope I'm not putting you in the spotlight right now. Of course, you're responsible. But how do you determine that exactly? Kumbaga parang meron bang clue or indication that says, okay, yes, as much as you would like to happen, it's not just going to happen. So might as well pick this one, and you may succeed in this other choice.
As I said, no, para bang MPKK is actually my personal constitution. And when you say constitution, it becomes the guides and the ruling point of your decisions and actions. Whenever confronted with a thing in decision making, I always ask myself, I ask myself, is this actually MPKK? Is this actually in accordance to my declared mission, the MPKK? If my answer is actually no, then I guess it's not something worth of pursuing. Parang pakiramdam ko, okay, wag na muna yan. Kasi it's not because it's not important, but because there's a lot of things that I want to do in line with what I really want to do. And I guess this thing would not be for me. Parang hindi ko na ipupursu yan. For example, I always tell that I really value family. And so whenever I actually confronted or asked or actually asked to do a work related to it, para bang okay, mahirap sa schedule, puno, medyo mahirap kata to, there's something new. But I guess this is one thing. Na ito yung this is very much aligned to the true north, and so I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna push through.
Okay, so let's talk about your framework, MPKK. I'm sure it's not Manny Pacquiao, Kabuhayan, Kapayapaan. No. Maybe you can help in the campaign. Meron ka ng framework eh. The framework is composed of 3-letter word: mission, principle, kindness, and Neil. I understand Neil is humility. Talk to us about the framework and how interrelated are these keywords dito sa framework na ito at anong mga functions ng bawat isa.
Siguro, Lloyd, bago yung framework na yung 4 na letter. First, I wanna emphasize that MPKK first and foremost is my family. So the 4 letters actually represent the names of the family. So I'm Mike, Perla is my wife. The first case actually Kyle, my eldest, and then the youngest actually Kyla. It always tells me, okay, my family. That's why actually I wear them every day. So that's primarily what MPKK is.
Okay, and hindi ka na magdadagdag ng anak, no? Hindi na kayo magkakaanak.
No. Actually, yung bunso bonus na yun eh, bonus na. The eldest is actually turning 20, but the bunso is actually only 6. So parang bonus. So mahirap ulit na yun eh.
No, I asked because if you're able to build MPKK as a brand at may sumunod pang isa, you know what I mean, right?
Mababago yun.
Mababago yung framework mo. Okay, so walk us about mission first. Mission. What can you say about mission in this framework?
Yeah, I would say one important thing in life really, as far as I experience, is really having a sense of mission. It gives direction. It gives a sense of vision. It gives us a purpose. So whenever I ask myself, or whenever people would tell me, what is the one thing that I need to ask myself? No? I'm turning 30, I'm already 40, no, I'm still young. It's good to ask, where would I want this life to be? And that would speak of mission. Ang daming pwedeng gawin sa mundong to eh. Ang daming mong pwedeng puntahan. And everyone would have their own race and their own path. But your path is actually your mission. The sad thing is that we go on with life, we journey life without really realizing what is the specific mission. And I always believe this one. Sa dami-dami ng tao sa mundong to, niligay ka dyan for a specific purpose. And that's called for a mission. And I need to discover it. And no one else can actually tell me that's your mission. It's me who would tell me, this is my defined mission. So that's how important for me missions.
And therefore, it was clear to you, leaving the seminary, na kahit kaya mong gawin at pwede mong gawin yan, you thought it's not your mission to be there. So you serve in another way and another form. Parang ganun yung nangyari.
Yeah, that's also, MPK is about family. You know, the storyline, no? In the seminar 7 years, we've been talking about family issues and concerns. No? Well, Lloyd, I came from a not so ideal family setup. So all those things I felt during the seminaries, para bang yung growing ka, yung lumalaki kang bata, no, 17, 18 na, seminary na 20, and you've been crying about a lot of things that you actually don't understand. And it's all about family. It's actually the very core of who I am, family. And so, yun, para bang pakiramdam ko, okay, I will go out of the seminary, but I guess my defined mission, my during that time would be more on the family, and what was established when I actually ended up with this MPKK.
Mm-hmm. And then let's talk about principle in the context of your MPKK framework. What does it mean to having principle? And in your particular case, if there is a specific principle, that you are infusing in this framework, what must it be?
Actually, principle is actually universal truth. These are objective truths that should guide us in terms of decision making, should guide us also in the way we want to live life. In this kind of world, we all know, no? The environment, the society is so much polluted with a lot of things that are not aligned to moralities, values, good attitudes. I guess one thing that would guide us really is to live a life of principle. If there's one thing that I would tell, kasi ang daming universal truth and universal principle, I would say it's actually just simply doing good. Living a life, choosing what is better. Choosing what is actually good, not only for me, but for other people. And it's also para always making the better choice.
So ito bang principle is something that must be defined personally, like this is my set of beliefs, these are my truths, parang ganon. And if it is true, how do you measure that, and how do you gauge, kumbaga, kung ako halimbawa isang estudyante, paano ko malalaman na these are my principles? Or kasi baka minsan nang iniisip ko yung kabataan, for example, is they just go by whatever it is that is there and then make a decision and come up with their principle at any given circumstance that they get. So how do you instill principle doon sa mga tao na kailangan malaman nila yon, because more or less ito yung parang rules nila, rules of engagement nila?
I would say, Lloyd, Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the book, the 1980s book, no? Maganda yung libro eh. The early 90s pala, the book. It clearly defined, delineated, no, principle from values. Yung sinasabi natin kanina, this is what I believe, these are actually what I set as my principle. Baka hindi siya principle. It might be value orientation. When we talk about principles, these are actually universal truth of what? Universal truth of goodwill, love, integrity, honesty, no? Those things that are actually over the years crafted by traditions, culture, can be religion as well, no? Ito yung principles that would tell us these are guide, parang these are the true north.
Oo, so parang ito yung mga rules or something. And for example, do unto others what you would like others do unto you. Parang ganun ba?
Yeah, parang for example, Lloyd, alam mo, if my value is like this one, my value orientation is actually I would only work on give on people who are actually within my fence, close to me. Kasi dapat ko trabahuhin yan kasi para buhayin yung nasa bakuran ko, nasa pamilya ko and everything. That's a value. Diba? But when you talk about principle, it would be care for the common good. And that would actually push us to go beyond our values. So principles would actually, parang would tell us, the principle of love, the principle of care, the principle of compassion, going beyond the personal line of values.
Mm-hmm. So parang ito yung guide, no? Ito yung guiding, parang guiding statement kung ano man yung values na mayroon tayo. Sige, kindness. This looks easy. I mean, kindness. 2-syllable word. Why is it here sa MPKK?
I felt, parang if there's one thing that I can share with people, and I hope people would learn, that's to make kindness a default mode when it comes to human interaction. Maging default mode ba siya? Para bang I always tell them, you need to be kind sa lahat ng tao na makakaharap natin. Be every day. Because we do not know what kind of battle they're actually going through. And the least that we can actually do and show them is actually that act of kindness. And I always make this as a challenge to my friends, my family, my colleagues, also to those people who are actually listening to me also. The first thing in the morning that I do upon waking up, of course, we thank God for the life. Also, we ask God for guidance. But there's one question that I really post every morning is that, what is that one act of kindness that I can do today? And then in the night, I'm gonna evaluate myself. May nagawa ba ako? No? Not only to my family, but also to other people. One act of kindness that I can consider, that I can do today. I guess that would make a difference.
Yeah. So it does not require you to be really super duper 110% kind all day.
Naman, hindi naman. Para bang just simply, para bang listening with empathy, understanding, compassion, that's an act of kindness. Parang ganun eh. Diba? Sa kalsada, pag nagda-drive tayo, we are actually called to do a lot of act of kindness in order to show, understanding with other people.
Great. Sige. I'm going to pause for a short commercial before we talk about the kneel, otherwise known as humility, and probably yung application nito sa iba't ibang aspeto ng buhay ng tao at the same time, if this can be applied sa organization, maybe I'm going to ask you how to do it. In the meantime, don't go away, ladies and gentlemen, because the big picture on TNC will be right back. Please stay on our stream. Welcome back to the show. You're still watching The Big Picture on TNC. Again, before I call in our guest again for tonight, I would like to invite you to the second season world premiere of Money and More with Heidi Lumaino and Sunny Haldon. It will happen just right after the show at 8:30 p.m. tonight. So huwag niyo pong kakalimutan because napaka-exciting na kayo na magiging season 2. I am part of the meeting that said ito yung pwede nating idagdag at improve this season. So hopefully you are excited as we are to see Heidi and Sunny do the second season of their program on TNC, Money and More. Back to the studio is Mike Millanes, an educator, inspirational speaker, and coach, the framer of MPKK. Mike, we're talking about the last element dito, no? Yung kneel or yung humility, mission principle, kindness, and humility. Why is this important, and how is it contributing dun sa MPKK framework mo?
Well, actually, it would be the base and the ground of everything. The mission, the principle, the act of kindness. In the end, we just simply tell ourselves, no, we can't do it alone. Parang we need other people. In leadership, we need our people. In the family, we need our family. We need our neighbors. We need the society. No? In the spiritual context, we need a God. We need someone who can actually guide us. Ito, I always tell this also. Para bang after a hard day work, after pursuing a lot of things in life, doing a lot of initiatives, no? Para bang wanna change the world. In the end, sasabihin mo lang, cannot do everything. And my prayer is always, Lord, the work is actually yours. Para bang I can do as much, but in the end, really I'm here in front of you, humble, recognizing the need for you and other people. I guess that would sum up everything. In as much as you want to do a lot of things in this world.
So as an individual then, ano yung framework application nitong MPKK? Is there a sort of a process that I can follow, a flow that I can follow in order for me to apply this framework in my life or in my team or in my organization?
You know, Lloyd, every time I do this in a small group o kaya yung mga nakakausap ko o kaya individual people, it's just a simple guiding them through going to realizing and understanding each element. No, mission, no, there would be a process of actually trying to come up, building your own mission statement, personal constitution. It's a process. At the same time, identifying principles that you want to live in, actually that would guide you all throughout the achievement of this mission. Acts of kindness, no, para bang, well, living a life of mission should be incorporated with the acts of kindness also. Principles should also be guided by that act of kindness. At the same time, that spiritual part of it, that humility part of it, that realizing that all these things would not come out just by my own effort, not only by me, but it's actually given by circumstances, at the same time given by someone that's actually higher than me. My long dream still, I would be honest with this one, is to have it also as a process for organizations. You know, parang I do not know if you Lloyd, na parang sarap pangarapin na organizations would be aligned with a good clarity and identification of their mission, the principles they're actually upholding. You know, an organization of kindness, at the same time, an organization that actually spouses humility.
Oh, because I think this will be really, really beneficial kapag nangyari na yon, na meron ka ng parang process sa flow para dito. Because as it stands right now, what you're saying is, I'm going to write down my mission. You help me how I can come up with my personal constitution. Is that correct? Yun ba yung...
Yeah. It usually happens. Whenever I'm with a group.
Sige.
Whenever I'm with a group, sorry. Whenever I'm with a group, so that's the process. I guide them going through the mission and then identifying, understanding principles, and then how to apply it with their own personal life. So that's the process.
Sige. So very quickly, I would like to ask, how do you come up with a personal statement, mission statement, or your personal constitution? Constitution, medyo mahaba-haba, daming articles niya. But this is a personal mission statement, so it probably may be just a statement, a phrase, or a sentence. How does one person come up with it?
We always start with only a simple one, diba? A simpler one. So a statement, a paragraph. But I always ask them to visualize how do they actually want to end things. No? It's creating mission would be actually starting to begin with something with the end in mind. So that's a practice that I really do and I actually convey with people. Unang practice is that you begin with the end in mind. So if this is my life, how do I want to end it? How do I foresee it ending? So it's actually a mind creation. And from there, I create my mission. So backtrack. So ito pala yung gusto kong So para bang sinabi ko, gusto kong end, I'll be remembered as someone who's a good father, a responsible father of a family. So that's actually how I want to end things. So that would mean my mission should be aligned with it. So yun ang gusto kong gawin. So I'll start with it, beginning things with the end in mind.
And then yung principle ba supposed to be connected dun sa mission statement na you helped me create?
Yes, Opa. Yes, Lloyd. Para bang the principle should be aligned with the mission. So, kasi if not, yes. Yeah, it should be aligned with the mission. Kasi if not, there would be there should be alignment with all these things, with these four things. No? The missions, the principles, the act of kindness would always make a shoot everywhere, no? And then the humility. But it's important that the principles that we adopt, that we actually embrace, would be aligned really to the mission that we actually crafted our mission statement.
Do you also help people come up with their own principles, a set of beliefs, or set of universal truths?
Maybe the value orientation. Helping people clarify values aligned with principles. Diba? Pag sinabi natin about the principles of integrity, it's important that my personal values would be aligned with it. Because if not, it would be conflicting. So parang value clarification process. These are the principles that I wanna embrace, in my personal life, and so my value orientation should be aligned with it also. Values are actually born out of principles, the principles that we actually embrace.
Sige. So, yung kindness saka yung need or yung humility, how do you teach that now? Or if there's anything, how do I write it? Or bahala na ako nito kapag nagawa natin yung program? Is this part of, since this is part of the framework, do I write anything about being kind, the things that I will do in the next 7 days, maybe 21 days, or maybe a month or 1 year?
It can be, Lloyd, but I guess more than that one, it's actually instilling in the bloodline that idea of kindness, that context of kindness. Kasi we can easily do listing of those things that we want to do, but I guess it would all start to the appreciation that every day there's a value on doing one act of kindness.
Okay. And then same dun sa humility as a value. So parang kailangan maging part sila nung belief talaga ng tao.
The spiritual part of it.
Sige. So, itong nangyari sa ating lahat, I'm sure the framework can help us recover from the devastating pandemic that happened to us. It's still happening to us up until today. And we have seen how what the effects of the pandemic challenges are in your professional career as well. What do you think is the big picture in here? What are the things that probably most people are missing to see that you are seeing?
First, of course, events in life would call for missions. I guess if there's one thing that this pandemic is actually teaching us, is to discover new missions. In the academy, we always tell this. This pandemic taught us to actually embrace and to rediscover the mission entrusted to us as an educational institution. I guess this is one thing that people should actually discover. A sense of mission amidst this pandemic. A sense of mission would actually bring us outside the perimeter of self, outside the perimeter of self-concern. It would bring us into the level of actually looking also, the perspective, the paradigm actually looking at other people and their needs. Yeah, if there's one thing that this pandemic taught us, it's actually that mission. Second, I always talk about character development. Itong pandemic na ito, makikita natin, di ba? Of course, we all address it in a way that is systematic. The government would say a lot of restrictions and everything. But it also talks about a question of character. It actually brought the worst and the best in people. People who are actually persons of character. It brought, it brought out a lot of good things in them. Kaya nga, itong people who are actually persons of character, they easily embrace mission. But it also brought out a lot of question to Filipino people. Para bang nakakatuwa, a lot of restriction, and yet we try to evade still. Bawal ganito, ang dami ng bawal, mga sundalo na sa paligid. And yet, people would still not comply. It's actually a question of character. It's a question of actually, So, this pandemic, I guess these are the things that were missing and challenged. That sense of mission. This is an opportunity as well to do a lot of kindness, act of kindness, to other people, to those in need. And lastly, it tells us one thing. Amidst all the technology and capability of people, one snap, one pandemic, and one virus can actually put down everything and would actually parang stop how it goes. And then at the end of the day, we say, humble, with humility, talagang we all rely in the hands of someone who is actually greater than us. If I call it, I'll call it God. Someone who's actually can bring all these things together. And then that sense of humility, that you'll just kneel down and then pray.
All right. Where did they get in touch with you if they want to follow you on social media accounts, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or website? Please do invite them to follow you.
Yeah, kindly visit my blog, my website, www.mikemillanes.com. You won't believe me, Lloyd. I don't have social media accounts. I don't have Facebook account. I don't have Instagram. So I do not know. So but you can reach me through through my site, and at the same time my email. You can email me.
You're on LinkedIn, so do you want them to know about your LinkedIn now?
Yeah, LinkedIn. I'm in LinkedIn, Mike Millanes, at LinkedIn, and then you can also email me, mpkk020514@gmail.com.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Nice talking with you and sharing also MPKK.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Millanes is an educator, life coach, and the framework of MPKK. That's all the time that we have for tonight. I would like to thank you for watching. Also would like to thank our presenter, Puzzle Box BPO Inc. This show is also sponsored by Unisol, Mr. Rice, and Wildlife. I'm going to see you again tomorrow, but please stay up to until 8:30 p.m. because the season 2 world premiere of Money and More will be next. See you again tomorrow night for another inspirational episode of The Big Picture. This is your host, Lloyd Luna, saying good night, everyone.